What's going on, folks? Bill Murphy here from the Sports Insanity Network, and welcome to another rousing edition of Murphy's View. Well, today we're going to be doing a recap of the New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears. Now, usually, even though I am a Giants fan, I don't do Giants recaps or pre-games, but I'm doing this today because my colleague and Giants writer Jeff Knapp is on vacation, so I volunteered to fill in for him today and do this for you. Okay, so the New York Football Giants are finally 3-1. That calls for applause. Today, the Giants beat the Chicago Bears by a score of 20-12 in the Meadowlands. It was an interesting game today. Like I said, Giants won 20-12. Let's look at the stats for passing. Daniel Jones, eight completions out of 13 attempts, 71 yards, 5.5 average, and was sacked once. Tyrod Taylor, 1 completion out of 3 attempts, 11 yards, 3.7 average, and 1 interception. Okay, we'll get to why Tyrod Taylor in a second, but Daniel Jones's rushing performance was more the bigger story, with 6 carries, 68 yards, 11.3 average, and 2 touchdowns. You heard that. Both of the Giants' touchdowns was given by Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley, 31 carries, 146 yards, 4.7 average. Even though he did not score any touchdowns, he had a hell of a day today. Saquon Barkley had a hell of a day. And going over to the Chicago Bears side, Justin Fields threw for 11 completions out of 22 attempts, 174 yards, and was sacked 6 times. In rushing, Khalil Herbert, who had a pretty impressive day with 19 carries, 77 yards, 4.1 average, and no touchdowns. Justin Fields also had a decent rushing day with 7 carries, 52 yards, 7.4 average. And Treston Ebner had 6 carries, 20 yards, and 3.3 average. Okay. And going over to the Giants side, Daniel Jones today was really just showed a lot of heart and a lot of fight today. Doing those 2 Russian touchdowns, he looked good today in the first half. Second half, he was a little more contained, but he looked really good in the first half today. Daniel Jones, I've been saying this on the podcast for the longest time. Daniel Jones, with this new regime with Brian Daboll, he's finally taken risk. This man is finally taking risk and is showing some guts. He, like I told you, his rush game today, 68 yards. 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. This guy really has the guts. And that is what Brian Daboll's offense is. It's not afraid anymore. And that's what I love about it. Okay. Now, I mentioned Tyrod Taylor. The reason why Tyrod Taylor was put in the game is because Daniel Jones had an ankle injury after the first half of the game. But then Tyrod Taylor came in, and he was looking good. I got to give Tyrod Taylor his credit. He ran 30 yards, was going first down after first down. but then went a little too gutsy and ended up going into concussion protocol. And then Daniel Jones came out and finished the game with the Wildcat formation, but still finished strong. Now, my complaint about the Giants when it comes to offense is that I just wish in the second half they would just score the touchdowns. They did not score any touchdowns in the second half. They did not score any touchdowns. Both their touchdowns were in the first half. I just wish they got more to the end zone more. But other than that, I think they played really well. They ran the ball well. Saquon, like I said, Daniel Jones, Tyrod, Matt Breida. I think they all just ran the ball well and moved it along nicely. But a criticism I do have of the Giants is their defense. Like, I'm not gonna lie, defense didn't look too hot today. Like, they held the Bears from getting touchdowns, which I will totally give them credit for that. They held the Bears from getting touchdowns. So I will give the Giants defense that. But I just feel like the Bears offense was literally just running through this anemic defense. They were just running through this anemic defense. And that, I gotta admit, that is something that needs to be worked on, is the Giants defense. Now, shooting over to Chicago, and this is a credit to Chicago when it comes to offense. They were 3-20, and I'm thinking, okay, Giants are going to stop them here. Nope, 23-yard pass, Chicago first down. But yeah, so that was a big flaw with the Giants, was the defense. But I will give one credit today to Mr. Hold on one second. I will give credit today to Mr. Tay Crowder of the defense, who had 11 total tackles and 1 sack. So Tay Crowder looked really good today. Now, shooting over to the Chicago side of everything, the offense of the Bears was average. Like, they did put up a fight, but they scored no touchdowns. And to be honest, the Giants defense just got lucky. But Justin Fields, again, I think he did a really good job. Like I said, 11 out of 22, 11 completions out of 22 attempts, but was sacked 6 times. But Justin Fields also ran 52 yards, so he had a good game today. He threw the ball to Darnell Mooney a lot. And in the second half of the game, the Bears defense, this was just a whole nother defense. They ended up getting 77 total tackles, 44 solo, and 1 sack. So the Bears defense really gave Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor a run for his money. Now, speaking of the Giants, I am going to be concerned about how's Daniel Jones going to be and how's Tyrod Taylor going to be for next week, because are we going to have a quarterback for next week if both of them are injured? We're going to have to see what happens. So, like I said, the New York Giants win today by a score of 20-12. which brings them to 3-1, which makes them the first time they started the season 3-1 since 2004, when Tom Coughlin was head coach. So there we go. Next week, the New York Giants are playing the Green Bay Packers in London. And the Chicago Bears will be playing the Minnesota Vikings. Well, if you like what you see, and why wouldn't you, because this content's amazing, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, podcasts, in the words of Mike Rifton, planes, trains, and automobiles. And tune in for more Murphy's View. Well, guys, I'm Bill Murphy. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.